Welcome to Grind 365. This here is another episode, and I'm your host, Down Low. Of course, we got a special guest in the building, West Coast legend. Really need no introduction, coming straight out of Compton. Got my man, MC8 in the motherfucking house. What's up with
What's
it?
cracking, fam?
Man, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for being here, first of all.
It's all good.
And first time in Spokane?
Yeah,
Okay, first time in Spokane. Well, welcome to Spokane.
for sure. It's
You know
all
what I'm
good.
saying? We love to have you here as we getting ready for sports season right now. You watching any sports going down? Basketball, football? I know they got the draft.
Yeah, we're doing a little football. We watched the draft a little bit. You know, the Lakers doing good right now. They
Okay.
just put out the Grizzlies. So, you know,
That's your squad right there, LA Lakers,
yes,
huh?
indeed.
Yes, indeed. How'd you feel when LeBron said he was coming to LA?
You know, whatever it is to help out the team, whatever, I'm not a big focus on one person fan, I'm just a team player.
Yeah.
Whatever it is to help the team out, help the organization, which has been positive. So, that's a good thing. Don't make no comparisons, love Magic Johnson, I love Shaq, I love Kobe, love LeBron. So it's no comparisons. Anything what helps out the team and the organization is what I'm about. So it's all good.
Yeah, and rest in peace, Kobe.
Yes, indeed.
I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest Kobe fan, but when I heard that news, I mean, it damn, you had you in tears.
Definitely.
It's like seeing MJ go. I don't think we could handle that neither. You know what I'm saying? So, your son, I know you got some daughters. Do you got one son or you got?
Yeah, I got my son is about to graduate high school. Been playing football. He's got a scholarship to go to college.
Okay.
So he's about to go. He's about to go take that step. About to lead a nest, so to speak, and go out and venture and try to make a name for himself, build his own character. Try to become a successful grown man, adult. Positive. So that's where we at with it. You know what I'm saying? We get to. Kids get to benefit, sometimes from being in a position that you're in. So sometimes your kids can, follow in the right footsteps. He didn't have to grow up in Compton and, participate in gang banging and
Right.
selling shit like I was. So, all my kids are, kind of got their heads on straight and positive, trying to be positive role models for the community. So that's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? So he's real advocate for football. He's been loving the sport since he was 5. So we're gonna see what he do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And he grew up with you coaching them, right?
Yeah, I coach. I've always been a fan of sports, football especially. I played a little bit, in my youth days in high school before the hood took me under.
Okay.
But just want to have that experience, I guess, when you get a son. It's different from when you have daughters. The daughters, tend to gravitate with the moms and, and I'm not too girly and shit.
Yeah.
I'm a man's man. So having a son, you want to try to figure out, what their path is going to be. I didn't know. I knew I didn't want him to venture into wanting to be no rapper and shit like that. So,
Hey, why was that though? Just as far as the rapper.
because it's nowadays the rap game is a little difficult for the youth. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to come in this game with the aspect of not having animosity and tension. A lot of the youths like to, come at each other on that aspect.
Okay.
I didn't want him to have to travel that diss road or, I'm the new rapper out and so the dudes around the corner don't like me, so
Yeah,
it's
right.
fuck him. And that's really the aspect of a lot of rap in the day with the youth. And then just being in the music business, you know what I'm saying? Firsthand, being in this shit for over 30 years, knowing what you have to deal with as far as, getting into the game and, dealing with people and different aspects of labels and percentages and money and if this record is going to be successful or not, or, so I wanted him to take a different route than I took. So I just started signing him up for shit,
Yeah.
Let's try soccer. Let's try baseball. Let's try basketball. Let's try football. Let's try this. Let's try that. I didn't want his interest to become, I want to get in the studio. You know what I'm saying? So once he got interested with a sport, which was football, I just became the head coach,
Okay.
Had to, just had to fill out an application, had to pass a background check, all that type of shit. But, I think it kind of built a relationship to where, he could trust my decisions and shit. And then I could be there for him. There's a lot of kids, without fathers around, so the stereotype of us, with no black fathers in the home and that type of shit. So, I just wanted to, be there, show him I was the head coach. Kids looked up to me because of that, and other dads looked up to me because what I sacrificed, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would turn down shows and tours because, coaching football was a year-round thing. It starts in the summer and then practices and, kids and building relationships with their families and bonding. And then you're traveling different places and, building bonds like that during practice. And so it's a year-round thing. So I had to turn down a lot of shit when I was coaching. And that happened for 13 years. So, it's a different perspective.
Yeah.
It was cool. As I say, living the normal life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though motherfuckers knew who I was, and it gave me the chance to be normal. Go to backyard pool parties with families and shit who necessarily wasn't in my field of work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got motherfuckers who work in construction and people working in real estate and just normal people. And, so it was good to have that. And it was also, like I said, to build that bond with him. Now he's 18, 19, finna graduate high school. He earned a scholarship to go to Valparaiso University.
Congratulations.
So he's gonna play some football, get him an education, and let's see what happens
Yeah.
in the next 4 years. Of what he wants to become. Like I said, if you look at the NFL draft right now, we had 3 black quarterbacks taken in the first round, 1, 2, and 4. So, it just sets the precedent of what these boys can achieve.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids, Bryce, he played football right down the road from us in Santa Ana, so he's,
Okay.
CJ grew up, he played football in Rancho Cucamonga. My son played against them in high school. So, he played for Snoop Dogg's league, it's a lot of aspects that these kids can now, put in perspective that they can try to achieve, just like when I was rapping, when I started rapping, it makes some kids feel like, I can achieve something. This dude from the neighborhood, whatever, and look at what he's become. So those dreams can be achieved by some of these young men, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm glad that, my son gets an opportunity to get a scholarship, something that he earned, he worked hard for, and now he can go out and try to prove himself, and who knows where he can get,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Well, congratulations to your son.
For sure.
And I'm sure, you learned from through your childhood on, what you want to be when you're, in the fatherhood and the journey of being a father, So to dive into your childhood, like you said, you play sports. You were living. It was just you and your mom's, right?
No, it was me and my mom's and my sister and my little brother.
Okay.
You know. My father, was married couple, good jobs, middle class people, whatever, my parents divorced, I grew up in Compton.
What age did you become active in the gang banging?
Maybe 15, 14, 15.
Okay.
Like I said, you try to grow up with a normal childhood, You grow up watching cartoons on Saturdays, eating cereal and playing with your cousins and friends. And, I played football as a youth and, all of that, Christmases and fun times and traveling across the country on family reunions. But, sometimes when you grow up in areas where it's infested with gangs and drugs and, police brutality and, shit like that, sometimes you get overwhelmed by the streets and whatever. And especially if, like I said, my mom's worked her ass off. So for that, we were unsupervised. You know
Yeah.
what kids get into when kids get into a lot of shit when they are unsupervised. Fortunately, mine was gang banging and selling dope. That's what I got into, you know. The dreams of being the normal kid, I don't know, some kids can stick with that dream through hard times. But, a lot of us, with, no fathers in the home and influenced by what's down the street and, your homeboy's big brother is banging and hanging and, and all you see is you see the positives from the negative. You get me? Is it negative to be selling dope and gang banging and all that shit? Yeah,
Right.
but them niggas got all the money and the bitches and the cars.
Right. And this was the 80s too.
So you get influenced by that, and so that's
Yeah.
what my turn was there. Did I see being normal as the way to go? Hell nah. Being normal looked like struggling like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Being normal in the household was your mom struggling to pay bills and living in poverty and shit like
Right.
that. So who wants to be normal? Shit, I want to be rich and in fancy cars and gold chains and all the bitches on me. So I'm influenced by the niggas down the street. I'm no longer influenced by the 9 to 5 motherfucker
Right.
or the nigga going to get the paycheck and being normal or the superhero or with the cape on and saving all the people and shit. Ain't influenced by that shit. I'm influenced by reality. And reality is that shit is make-believe and that shit is real. So you take a detour and that's what I did. Gang banging, selling dope, trying to figure out the ins and outs of what you gonna become. Going to jail, seeing niggas getting murdered, seeing niggas go to prison for life. You start thinking like, shit, is there something else? Or is this it? You know what I'm saying? Some niggas who get stuck on this is it, they get deeper into it. And then you get niggas who feel like, man, it's got to be something else because I'm tired of going to jail every
Right.
3 months. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of doing that. So my position was the last time I went to jail and I had to sit on house arrest for like 3, 4 months. And it gave me an opportunity to do something else, which was music. So I started listening to music, started listening to, at the time we didn't have too much West Coast influence rap, so
Who's you bumping?
I would listen to a lot of East Coast shit.
Okay.
If you grew up a true hip hop connoisseur, then you listen to East Coast. So I grew up listening to, of course, UTFO. I grew up listening to fucking Run DMC. I grew up listening to fucking Treacherous 3, early LL Cool J, Kumo D, Eric B. and Rakim, EPMD, Big Daddy Kane. I grew up listening to shit like MC Shan, Marley Marl,
Yes, indeed.
I mean, because on the West Coast, we didn't have too much. That was out. We might have niggas who was underground and shit like that, but as far as, commercial success, like it was going down in New York, we really didn't have that. So I listened to a lot of them niggas. And then, we started getting our little buzz, we had, Sir Mix-a-Lot came along. And then, fucking Toddy T came along with the Batarang. And then Mixmaster Spade came along. And then, then my nigga Too Short came along. And then next thing you know, we start building our foundation.
You had said previously, I want you, if you could touch upon it, you said when music got to the West Coast, it was kind of like a parody. Like it was kind of like a.
Well, down in LA, we didn't have shit. We had niggas like Bobby Jimmy and the Critters. You get me? Niggas, they was making like, I call it Weird Al Yankovic rap.
Okay.
Parody rap. They had songs called Rumors. Bobby Jimmy made songs called Roaches. You get me? Comedy rap is what I called it. Because let's face it, niggas didn't really think rap was serious.
Okay.
So it was a joke type of shit, So our foundation of LA rap was that type of shit. You get me? Bobby Jimmy and the Critters, or, the Wrecking Crew, with Dr. Dre and them, but it was sequence jackets and, eyeliner and shit like that. Niggas wanted to be more on the disco aspect than being, regular niggas. So that was our foundation until we discovered niggas like Toddy T and them. We had to buy TDK tapes, and Todd and them was rapping street shit. They was telling us about the house that got raided down the block last night. They were in shit that we already knew, but now they informing everybody on some tapes and they putting it to music to where now, nigga, you can roll in your car and listen to the homie talking about Sebo, who got jacked last night and the one time kicked in his front teeth and ran in his front door and all this other shit. And so to us, that was entertainment. Even though it was real shit, it was entertainment to us. Because now I could ride down the block bumping how the one times came through or how the enemy came through and tried to blast and we called them slipping. That was language to us. So that's when music started transforming for us in Southern California. You get me?
Yeah.
Up north, it was more, like I said, it was Too Short. It was Mac Dre. It was fucking Digital Underground. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Right.
That was up north. But down for us in Southern California, it was more about, who sold dope last night, who got jacked, who got killed, who got shot. Because to us, gangbanging was the number one thing. So if I'm from over in this neighborhood and you informing me about what happened in your hood last night, I'm like, damn, nigga, that shit happened over here last night. That's how niggas start connecting when it came to rap music, because niggas started, instead of just telling niggas to get up and fucking dance or shake your ass, like, I'm a hood nigga on the block trying to sell dope. I ain't out here trying to shake my ass or dance. But if you telling me Daryl Gates and them came through last night at 2 o'clock with the Batarang, oh, fuck. So now I gotta be more informative because now nigga giving me some info.
Right.
These niggas really out here Bataramming niggas' houses and shit. I can relate to that. So now can them niggas over there and them niggas over there, because let's face it, we was all selling dope and gangbanging back then. So when Todd and them came along, we started, fuck this sequence jacket shit, fuck this old comedy ass shit. And then that's when Eazy broke. And then we had niggas like I said, after that, then we had Ice-T came with 6 in the morning. And Ice-T, same thing. He told us 6 in the morning, police was at the door, they kicking it in. You better go flush your dope and get out the back window. That was really going on in niggas' neighborhoods. So now we starting to go, yeah, That's our identity.
There
You
you
get
go.
me? That's our identity. We them niggas. We not B-boys and
Right.
break dance and spin on your back and woom-dee-woom. We not up north where it's about the hustle game and, pimp the bitches and all that type of shit and get your, nigga, we about, nigga, blast a nigga and watch out. We selling dope, flush the motherfucker. Tell us some, so that's how we got on as hip-hop
And it seemed
down in
it,
our
it took
area.
off quick,
Well, because that was, even though it was us, it was very informative, like I said, to be a nigga in Texas and hear about some niggas in LA talking about police kicked in their front door last night and they had to flush the dope. You like, we might not be crippin' in blood, but we serving down here too. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? We gotta watch out for that shit. So it started becoming really like informative scripture to niggas because you ain't gotta be a crip or a blood, but niggas in Texas is serving. Up here in Spokane, they were serving.
Yeah.
Over in Chicago, they were serving. You get me? So now niggas started gravitating to that because it was a different form of entertainment, but it was also informative because now we let niggas know how we get down in California and on the West Coast. And that's why it started floating like wildfire, because everybody had some sort of similar situation going on in their town. You get me? So that's how West Coast rap really took off for us down in Southern California because of those niggas like Ice-T and King T and Eazy and Toddy T who decided, fuck that. I'm tired of a nigga pulling me over every night, jacking me, and now I'm sitting in the substation because I'm from this hood. That's what we had to go through. So now, nigga, I'm gonna start telling you about it. So now everybody across the nation, like, yeah, I'm tired of getting jacked by the popo too. I'm tired of, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to serve. Or we clicked up over here. So that's how we got successful for West Coast rap. It just took a different turn from what they was doing in the East Coast. You get me?
Yeah.
East Coast, it was just rap. It was rap and have fun, and like I said, it was just hardcore. It was
Right.
just rap. We didn't define it by territorial or neighborhoods or blocks or sets. When you turned on motherfucking Big Daddy Kane, you was entertained because this motherfucker could rap. You get me?
Yeah.
When you turned on EPMD, you didn't think like, I wonder where these niggas is from. You just put on You Got to Chill, and it was like, damn, this shit is cracking. You get me? So it was looked at as a different light for hip hop for us on the West Coast.
Your mom had got you some equipment, right? Or she bought you some equipment?
My mom bought me a drum machine and a stereo. I had got locked up and I got put on house arrest, so I couldn't go nowhere. So basically, I needed something to keep my interest so I wouldn't break my house arrest because I was a young, ambitious, young little nigga at 15 years old, and I wanted to be on the block. So she wanted to keep my interest, to stay in the house. So she bought me an amplifier, bought me a drum machine, and from there, I didn't know how to make no beats, but, whatever I thought I created. And it just furthered my love for wanting to get into the music thing.
Did you start off with the name MC8 right away, or did you progress?
I don't know how many, whatever names I had before I became Eiht.
So it was definitely different names.
It was different names.
Okay.
You experiment, you try
Yeah.
whatever. And Compton's Most Wanted came from, I was watching the show America's Most Wanted one night, watching how they tracking down all these murderers or killers or whatever, and thinking like, damn, these are the most wanted people in America, like motherfuckers. And so it came up to me, Compton's Most Wanted. Like, we the most wanted motherfucking MCs in Compton. So that's how CMW came about.
What age did you meet the Chill?
I've been knowing the Chill since the 7th grade.
Okay.
So I met him in the 7th grade through family, just hanging out, functions and shit like that. So I actually, once we became cool, I actually had my mom check me out of my school and check me into the school where he was going. So that's how that bond kind of.
And that was out in Long Beach,
That
right?
was in Long Beach. We were living in Compton. He was going to a school, a junior high school in Long Beach. So it didn't help that the fact I had just got kicked out of the school I was going to. So
Just made sense, huh?
yeah, so we moms checked me in over there, and that's how me and Chill became cool.
Now, is this where Snoop said you battle rapped him in high
Right.
school?
We build up a reputation as Compton's Most Wanted. I think I had did a couple of homecomings for the school, rapped for the school. We ended up going to the same high school, me and Chill. So, Snoop was another, up and coming rapper, from down on the east side of Long Beach. And that's what you used to do. You used to go to other people's schools, ditch and go to other people's schools. So it just happened to be a day where they was ditching and they came up our way and we all hooked up at this park that was popular in North Long Beach. And we all set up there and we was battling. Chill used to be a beatbox. He started out as beatbox. So Chill would beatbox, I would rap. We go back and forth, you know what I'm saying? So we've been knowing Snoop a long time too. Like I said, growing up in Southern Cal, Compton, Long Beach, Watts, LA, you tend to run in and grow up with a lot of, people you gonna see down the road. You
and
get me?
that seems to be what happened. Like, because especially in that time, it seems like even like on the East Coast, you got Jay-Z battling Notorious B.I.G. and DMX and Jay-Z going at it, and you hear all these battles. And same
Definitely.
thing on the West Coast. You hear of artists battling Corrupt and
Definitely.
and stuff like that. So it seemed to just kind of be a battle era.
Definitely, it was an era to try to, get yourself noticed or get on. It wasn't easy to get into the rap game, the record business, period. I don't know, like back in the older days, you go on the corner, sing, whatever, motherfuckers see you, discover you, next thing you know, you in the studio making records. It was difficult when rap started because, a lot of companies really didn't believe in it. So it took a time for it to generate, the money it did and the popularity and whatever for record companies to really start investing in motherfuckers as artists. So,
And that crazy because like nowadays, if something's gone viral, they're like on top
oh
of
yeah,
it right away.
record labels nowadays, they don't give a fuck. They check YouTube or check whatever the
Yeah.
latest internet sensation, and that's how you get a record deal. In my days, you had to actually know and perform good and have lyrics and the right beats and and get up in front of motherfuckers and whatever. So it's a different time of how it is with music making today of trying to get in. So it was kind of difficult, back then.
Right.
So motherfuckers felt like they had to prove themselves or you really had to go through that route. So sometimes you had to battle motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
And you knew MC Ren and all them from around the way.
Chill lived across the street from I think one of Ren's kids' mothers at the time. So we used to see Ren all the time when he would pull up. This is right around the time when NWA was, really cracking.
How does it feel when you're like, okay, y'all all coming up in the game at the same time, but you kind of see like, okay, y'all got y'all lane over there, y'all getting it cracking, and just to know you kind of like a touch away from it at the moment,
Me and you dream, you hope, you get me. Like I said, we used to see Ren all the fucking time. To know a motherfucker who was actually like, damn, this nigga on the video. You know what I'm saying? Damn, this nigga with Eazy and Dre and Cube and like, and we know the nigga. He pull up across the street. What's up, y'all? So it just gives you the aspect of like, you hope. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You hope, but so that's why we strived for it. We never went to Ren and was like, man, give us a deal or give us a
Right.
shot. I mean, because
Did Ren kind of know about you rapping at that
Ren
time?
knew we was
Yeah.
trying to rap.
Okay.
Ren knew, I mean, because we had a single out. When they were like putting together the first, EP, whatever, or Easy's record, me and Chill had an actual song out called This Is Compton. We had hooked up with the unknown DJ and DJ Slip. And so we put out a 12-inch. And so we had a little popularity trying to, but like I said, Ren pulling up in Benzes and shit. You get me? He's,
Yeah.
so, you hope, but then we still, we some arrogant little hood niggas. So it ain't like we finna be like, man, can you give us, we like, nigga, it is what it is. Nigga, y'all see us over here, whatever. But did we ever, expect to be signed by Eazy or Ruthless, or did we ever expect a handout? I don't know.
No.
We looked at it because we was from the West Side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was from the East. That's how we kind of put shit in perspective. You know what I'm saying? We our own clique. They come from over here, so it's respect because we all Compton and we all from the Crip side, whatever. But
It just motivated you even more.
we never looked at it like, oh, them niggas gonna sign us or whatever, whatever. Eazy really didn't like my voice.
Oh, really?
He thought, he knew we had some shit, but he thought I sounded too much like Rakim from the East Coast because of my deep drawl. So he didn't want to fuck with us on no music because he thought I sounded too much like niggas from the East Coast. So,
Which is crazy because Eazy had a distinct voice himself.
right. But, it didn't bother me any,
Yeah.
because later on down the road, before Eazy passed, I ended up writing 2 or 3 songs for him. Unfortunately, it never came out because he passed. But, I respected Eazy for the fact that, he was a nigga who came from Compton like me, gang banged and claimed the hood and did all that. And, he didn't have to take the typical route that usual niggas, take like us. Gang banging, selling dope in kilos and being that type of nigga, he got a spark from the music industry and said, nigga, you could flip birds, you could flip records like you flip birds and shit. So that's what he did. And like I said, it motivated a lot of niggas who was hood motherfuckers to go, there's an ability and a chance that I can do something different instead of going to take that penitentiary chance. You get me?
Yeah.
Maybe I could go invest in a rapper or start a label, get me some artists, and flip my money like that. So he paved the way for a lot of motherfuckers, man. So
And
you gotta
y'all
respect it.
ended up creating Compton's Most
We
Wanted.
ended up creating CMW. I ended up, starting the name. Like I said, Chill was a beatbox at first. I started writing Chill's some lyrics
Okay.
so that we could be, I wanted that EPMD feel for me and Chill. So he went from beatboxing to becoming my rap partner. And so I just, we would do songs. I would write 4 verses. I would take 2. I would give him 2. Next song, I would write 4 verses. I would take 2, give him 2. So that's how CMW was formed. And then, like I said, it just happened to be at the time where West Coast rap started doing this. And we was able to jump on that motherfucking climb when it started. You get me? So that's how CMW has been able to establish and maintain to this day because we got on the train when it started to take off.
And you guys ended up kind of partnering in a sense with Lonzo, right?
We did, everybody know Famous Lonzo if you've seen the NWA movie. So we actually came that route too. Ren's baby's mother or whatever, she had a brother. He had an R&B group. So they were trying to get in, as R&B singers. So they knew that me and Chill was rapping on that aspect. So basically, we was just gonna package the deal like they're the singers, we're the rappers. And we was gonna go present that to somebody. They had a meeting with Lonzo one day. We just happened to come along for the ride. Oh, y'all going to Lonzo's? Oh man, won't. So, they put us in the car with them. I had a demo tape on me that me and Chill had did like a couple of months back. And so we ended up going to the meeting, and Lonzo was chopping it up with them. And I just had the tape in my pocket, and Unknown was there, and Slip was there. And I just happened to play them the tape. And 2-3 days later, I was back at Lonzo's. And the rest was history.
That was the man to be.
They
or at least
never,
one of them at the
they
time.
never fucked with the singer niggas, but they got my number. And 2-3 days later, I was back at Lonzo's, and it was Lonzo, Unknown, and Slip. And they were like, we think y'all got something. And so that's how Compton's Most Wanted became official.
Because wasn't he kind of against rap in a sense? And
Lonzo didn't want, when they first NWA formed, as you know in the movie, Lonzo was more of, like I say, the disco era R&B type dude.
Yeah.
He had success with that. He had success with Wrecking Crew. You get me? Turn Off the Lights, Michelle A. and shit like that. They had success as, I don't want to call them the disco rappers, but that was his era he came from.
Yeah.
Coming out of the 70s into the 80s, it was the disco era, and then you had a little bit of rap, but Dre and Eazy and them, Lonzo knew them niggas was gang banging, right? So to a dude who comes from the disco, early rap era, don't nobody want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker want something to dance to, and they don't want to hear no niggas on stage talking about selling no dope and shooting at niggas and y'all from Compton. Get that bullshit, because he's already a nigga who's been in the wheel turning of what music is. Nigga, I'm trying to tell you, like the old people say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So nigga, let's keep doing this disco shit and keep getting these mamas in here and these young men in here and partying all night. But see, Dre and them knew times is changing. You get me? So but you gotta go, damn, these motherfuckers done did some shit. You get me? You gotta sit back and go, God damn it, these motherfuckers done did some shit. And if he had been probably willing to be like, something, I'm gonna give you motherfuckers a shot. I'm gonna put a record out on you motherfucker. You get me? Because he had his little label. That's how he was pushing all the Wrecking Crew shit. So if he was smart enough, he'd have been like, something, you done did this for me, and you done did this, and we done been successful in whoop-de-whoop. You niggas want to try that rap shit? Fuck it. I got the lane to do it. I got the record label. I can press up. Bingo. That's where he should have been smart. But...
And he had what, CBS behind him or something like that?
He had Epic behind him.
Okay.
So, but he was one of them. Shit ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You get me? They had to get their start from a nigga who put out the fucking California Raisins record. Again, another gimmicky comedy thing.
Right.
Because nobody believed in it. But it took Brian Turner, who had small independent priority, to go, but at first it took Eazy to go, fuck that. I'm gonna press these motherfuckers up myself. That's how I'm gonna do it. Fuck Lonzo, fuck this, fuck that. I know the same motherfucker right down on Santa Monica Boulevard, Macola Records, who press up records. So I'm gonna go right down there with my master and say, how much for some 12 inches? And that's how I got started. You get me? You cut me out. But if you're a motherfucking street-orientated nigga with a brain, nigga, I'm gonna figure it out. Fuck it. I don't need to go through you. I don't need to use your label. I start my own fucking label. Nigga, I'm serving. I got bread. Shit, the bread ain't doing nothing but going to re-upping on some more dope or buying lowriders and whatever. So
invest.
It was a smart move. Fuck it. I'm gonna start. I'm nothing about no fucking records. I'm a hood nigga from the block, but okay, you say this shit is cracking? Cool. Ruthless Records is gonna start. And that's the rest is history. Like I said, so Lonzo, no, but by the time we came along, it's like, ain't gonna be dumb. I'm gonna be smart.
Yeah.
So he basically just went out and found all these little local, 16, 17-year-old kids who was interested in becoming rappers and making music. And he said, I'm going to put together a record and call it the Compton Compilation. Because at the time, Compton was starting to be a hotbed.
Yeah.
Compton, Eazy-E, NWA, Compton. So Compton Compilation. We was all unknowns. We was all nobodies. But for a motherfucking record executive, it's a smart ass fucking move.
Yeah.
I can make $100,000 real quick. You get me? I could press up a couple of records and a couple of cassettes and go place them in every swap meet from here to the fucking Bay Area and whatever, and call it the Compton Compilation. Just because it's Compton on that motherfucker, nigga finna run out. Oh, let me get this record. So that's how basically we got our start with doing records. And then from Lonzo, because we ain't signed no contract or nothing.
Yeah.
We wasn't signed. And that's when Unknown's antennas went up. Because he like, oh, you didn't sign them niggas. We did our first record, and I think it was about, I don't know, maybe 15 acts on the record. Out of the whole record, we stood out. We had the image, we had the name. You get me? Think of it. NWA, these niggas is Compton's most wanted. Look at them. They got on sweatshirts and khaki suits. They holding guns and beanies on. Oh, it was perfect. For a motherfucker like, oh, it was perfect.
Because he like Lonzo's homie in a sense,
it was
right?
perfect.
Yeah.
You get me? Oh, it was perfect. These niggas don't know nothing about music and industry and publishing and writers. They just some young niggas who want to be on the cover of a record and go, they rapping. They don't know nothing. So, but that's how we got in. We went through Unknown. Unknown was Slip, and DJ Slip was like the in-house producer. He produced all the hip-hop for Lonzo and Unknown, whatever. So they said, I'm going to link Eiht up with Slip, put them niggas in the studio together, and them niggas gonna come. And me and Slip cooked up a whole record.
And Unknown kind of took the grimy route.
Unknown took the manager executive route. He put his hands a little bit when it came to doing actual music because he was a DJ. He had a label, whatever. But when it came to really grinding, that was me and Slip. Slip would do all the beats, and then I would sit there and write. I would just sit there and write. And that's how we came up with the first album. It's a Compton thing. And then Unknown, who knew the back channels and the Hollywood niggas and the niggas in the offices, he took that motherfucker and walked it right into Hollywood and said, look what I got.
Yeah.
And them white men, they was like, oh shit, you got one of these? Compton and dope selling and police. And so basically he went in and got a production deal, and he signed us to his little label, but then he went and got the big money from the labels. So
yeah, do you feel like that was a gift and a curse at the same time?
Well, it is, because I always tell people, if you come into this industry, you're gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't care. You could have been Drake, Jay-Z, Michael Jackson. You're gonna get fucked.
You see TLC, you see
Somebody's
everybody.
gonna fuck you. So you have to be prepared to take that route in the beginning. Now, what you do down the road, that's when you
How
have
you
to.
flip
But
it, right?
to get in that door, and a nigga's finna rape you blind.
Yeah.
But you have to take that. Fuck it. You look at it like, you know something? I got me a 5-year contract, deal with his ass for about 2 years, and then tell him to kick him out. Because by that time, I'm going to be so on the roll. What do you want to do? You want to let me go, or do you want to kick this nigga out? And that's just what eventually happened.
And you guys obviously had a big enough name because we get into the late 80s and we got DJ Quik mentioning your name, NWA's name.
DJ Quik, you know, was, it's just the aspect of the streets. DJ Quik was a blood, we was Crips, you know. We had a year or two success before he came along, you know.
You know what that kind of reminds me of, and I don't know, I could be wrong. It's almost like the 50 Cent How to Rob, where he starts just naming a bunch of rappers whose attention he can get.
If I'm a young blood nigga and these Crip niggas is all rapping and got record deals and whatever, and these niggas is from, like, my first aspect is fuck them niggas. I'm gonna get on a demo tape and I'm gonna talk about fuck Eazy-E, fuck MC8,
right.
fuck Compton's Most Wanted, fuck all them Crip niggas. You get me? I mean, it was clever. As far as to get his way, you know what I'm saying? This is demo tape. I'm at the home in my garage making. I'm not thinking that this shit is gonna be on a fucking double platinum album next year.
Yeah.
I'm in my fucking garage going, fuck Eazy-E, fuck MC. I'm doing this for the homies. You get me? Homies come over and listen to the demos and fuck this nigga and fuck that Crip nigga and fuck that nigga. They like, yeah, nigga, give me one of them. Give me one of them. You get me? Not knowing, like, shit, 2 years from now, this is gonna be my first album. So, and then like I said, it's the art of war.
And at some point, it must have, because I think they said that it was like 87 when he put out, was it really though? Or something like that.
He put out because, you know, my DJ was a blood. Mike T was a blood. So Mike T got a hold of the tape. Even before Quik even signed a record deal and anything, it was his actual demo tape. And I listened to it. He was, fuck Compton's Most Wanted, fuck them crabs. That's what the Bloods call it.
How long do you think it took before that record got to you where you're like, okay, was it right away or did it, you know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was working on my second album.
Okay.
You get me?
I know like in the 1990, I think we got a response.
Right.
How do you?
It really wasn't response because I didn't know Quik, but people did it like that because it just fit so perfectly.
Okay.
He did the demo tape. I didn't know anything about a DJ Quik or the demo tape. So as I'm recording Straight Checking Them, I do a song called Death Wish. Okay. And on the song, I make a reference to what the East Coast would call stealing your style. They would call it biting, right? Oh, you biting, you biting. Fucking, they had a whole record about it called You Only Bite It, whatever. So I said a verse, I'm just speaking in general. And I said a verse in Death Wish where I said, if you biting me quick, then you get my duck sick quick. It was perfect. You get me?
Yeah.
Because at the time he was working on his demo, he dissed us secretly. I didn't know about it, but when it came out, niggas went, he dissing you because of that tape. I had never known about DJ Quik. I didn't even know about him. So right when Straight Checking Them dropped is when Mike T comes to the studio with the demo tape. And I heard the fuck CMW, fuck Eazy-E, blah, blah, blah. So it just took off. Like, nigga, it like you put gas to flame right there and it's over with. And it just took off. And he, you know, the next thing you know, he dissed. And then I came back with Death Wish, and then he came back with Dollars and Cents, and then it was by that time, it was just through the roof.
That. Yeah.
It was just through the roof by then. And then I came back with the other Death Wish, and then it just, then by that time, niggas started getting shot and niggas was getting, because by then the whole Crip and Blood beef was really, for rappers, it was really going off at that time. So if you was affiliated with a gang and you was rapping in LA at the time, then it was probably gonna end up in some fucked up situations.
Well, tell me the atmosphere, because in '95 you came out on the Source Awards
Right?
performing
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the diss song,
Yes, he did.
and you were in attendance.
Yes, I was.
What was the atmosphere? Did you know he was going to pull something like that, or was you kind of just like, oh, did he really just come to fuck
Did
out
I
to
think
this?
he was gonna pull the song? No. We all didn't. It was a move, because if you notice that the tension in the air that night, it was just
Right.
Death Row was out to say fuck everyone that night. And it was a setup by a Suge. Suge like, no, you doing this motherfucker song.
Damn.
You get me? You know. So, but like I said, the tension in the air at the Source Awards that night was, we come to say fuck everybody. And that's what the perception was with Death Row. I mean, come on, they're in New York and they're
Right.
dissing Puffy and them on stage. They didn't give a fuck. They came about 50 deep and they didn't give a damn. So I only had 9 niggas with me. There was nothing we could do.
Yeah.
So get up there, sing your song, do whatever you're gonna do. But we're not dumb. There's no way we can fight 50
I feel
niggas.
it. I feel
you
it.
get me? I got 8 dudes with me.
Yeah.
So, but I always say it's the art of war. It's the act of war. When you in war, man, you pull whatever punches you can.
He just wasn't gonna pull no Will Smith to get up on there and smack a
I
nigga.
mean, because not if we wanted to,
Right.
not if we wanted to tear up the whole motherfucking arena
Right.
and probably not make it out of that motherfucker. Because
Right.
I
That
don't
would
give a
be-
fuck what you say. 8 niggas can't fight 50.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna work. So no matter how hard you want to be or proclaim or whatever, you know, it's just the aspect. Just like the homies got into a situation where Quik was performing one night. They was 4 deep in the club. They tried it. Somebody lost their life that night.
Damn, yeah.
You get me? It's, you know, it's just the situations of like I said, gang banging at the time, being a rapper in LA is sort of like now. You know what I'm saying? You see all the young niggas dropping and dying
Right.
and whoopty whoop. At that time, you could lose your life behind rap music. You know what I'm saying? So Puffy did, Biggie did, Tupac did, you know what I'm saying? When you was crossing that lifestyle, oh man, come on, you know what I'm saying? Tupac lost his life because he fighting with the South Side, homies, you know, Bloods and Crips. Niggas didn't take that shit lightly, you feel me?
Well, you was already having success. I mean, you go back to 1993, you had the Menace to Society, Straight Up Menace.
Definitely.
You
I mean,
know.
at the time, me and Quik were working on squashing the beef. You know, niggas got kids, families. You start looking at other shit that's, you know. You gotta start, understanding that when you in this entertainment business, you know, it could take you a lot of places. You deal with a lot of people, you know. You might run across a motherfucker that might be a true DJ Quik fan. You get me? And so, just like he might run into a motherfucker that's a diehard MC8 fan.
Right.
So, and you never know where that could be. You could be at the motherfucking grocery store shopping one day, and a nigga got it in his mind, I'm finna take off on this nigga because woompty whoomp. So you start evaluating what's more important. So that's how we became to squash the beef. You know, start learning that, man, this other shit. You get me? I got kids. I'm still out here trying to chase dollars. I'm still out here working, doing other shit. So to have beef when you trying to live as an entertainer and all that shit, it's the dumbest shit in the world.
Was that right around the BET? You guys sat down and had an interview?
with Tavis Smiley.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snoop put that together.
Okay.
I was working with Snoop at the time. Quik was also working with him, doing music and everything. So Snoop just figured it would be, cool if we would both go on the show, despite our differences, and then try to,
Because he's already seeing the Tupac and
right.
the Biggies
So
and
I think I even ended up out because me and Quick had never fucked around and we had never been that, close up, face to face. And I think after that, he invited me to the studio and I ended up going to do a song with him and Mossberg, rest in peace, and all of that. So,
yeah, I think I don't know exactly what the song was about or anything, but you think if the song would have been released at that time, it would have been on a major scale? Because here you guys are with the history that you had.
I think
If
it would have
you,
probably, and for the fact that it was me and him, and then, like I said, rest in peace, Mossberg was one of his proteges. He was on the record. I think it would have probably deaded a lot of tension that was in the streets about Eiht and Quik and whatever. So, but unfortunately, Mossberg got shot and killed, and that probably kind of
yeah.
slowed that down. You get me?
Just to take them back a little bit, obviously you had the soundtrack for Menace to Society,
Right.
straight up Menace. You were acting on Menace to Society. Just give us some of your favorite memories on the set, or if it was at all business. You have any
I mean,
fun?
no,
Or,
we had fun, the Hughes brothers was cool on the set. I knew everybody, Tyron Lorenz, Jada Pinkett, everybody was, professional. I was the rapper nigga on the set. So I tried to, not be so much of an actor. I try to just be myself, which I think broke a lot of tension. It enabled, me to get real cool with Lorenz. That was my boy on the set. We connected real good. I mean, just doing a lot of videos over time, music videos. You always had you already got the experience of being on sets long and camera motherfuckers and all that. So I think because everybody was professional, even though we was in our own fields, it made it pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? On set, we joked around. Everything wasn't always serious.
you said you ad libbed a little bit,
I
right?
ad libbed a lot. I was able to be myself, I didn't have to cut corners and do, fake shit as far as when comes to, if I'm really smoking weed or different outfits I got to wear and shit like that. I was able to put a lot of input into it because I mean, let's face it, I was a nigga still hanging out in the neighborhood
Okay.
every other day. During the time of shooting Menace to Society, I would leave the movie set and go to the neighborhood. And I still was on that aspect of still stuck in the neighborhood. So it enabled me to come straight from the hood and go to the set. And then, oh no, we don't do shit like that, or we don't do shit like that, or we don't dress like that, or we don't do this, or we don't do that. So I was able to put a lot of that input as far as my character is concerned.
Yeah.
You get me? Everybody else was actors. You think Lorenz was a stone cold killer. You get me? Dogg. But he's a fucking actor. You get me?
Spice said that he had the script at some point. His manager just didn't fully follow through with the old dog script.
I don't know who they casted because they casted Tupac to be Sharif. They had MC Ren read for the part of
Okay.
AWACS, so I'm pretty sure they tried their hands at a lot of different motherfuckers to see who would fit that mold. I mean, look at Spice. The way he wore his hair was just like
Yes,
O-Dog's
yeah.
character. AWACS, they were looking for an older OG type of influence. You know, Ren being that silent killer type of dude from NWA. He was always the silent killer, you know, the villain in black. They probably thought that role would probably fit him perfectly
Yeah.
playing AWACS. But, you know, they tried their hands at different things, and who knows? Like you said, Spice said, my manager could have dropped the ball.
Yeah.
You know, Ren wasn't, we know Ren today, you know, chill, best friends, you know, whatever. It's not really a people person.
Right.
You get me? So maybe he was like, I don't do no motherfucking movie. You get me? Because I don't be acting with niggas like that ain't really me in real life. You get me? I'm not a people person. I'm silent, you know, in my moves. So who knows? But but that's the way it turned out.
Well, congratulations on that, because that's a fucking classic.
Good looking.
Straight Up Menace gets sampled by Montel Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like royalties off that, or I mean, is
Yeah,
there?
they had to clear that with the label and
Okay.
you know, publishing. I wrote the song, whatever. So that basically, yeah, we got compensation for that.
Okay. And then about a year or so later, you were a part of that whole Milwaukee incident,
Right.
with Tupac and
the big concert in Milwaukee,
Yeah.
where it was a riot and they tore up whole downtown Milwaukee. Yeah, that was a big concert. Me, Tupac, Scarface, the Brat.
Why was like you had Escape on there?
Yeah.
Was that just because like I kind of found that a little weird? You know, like you said, the Brad Escape.
I don't, people, do these mega concerts. I don't know if they were just trying to appease a certain audience. Escape was, popular R&B group around that time. So why? But who knows?
Right.
Why did they figure, let's throw Escape on here with MC Eiht and fucking Scarface and Spice One and Tupac and, the Brat? Who knows? Maybe they felt it would, in between the hardcoreness, it would tone it down a little bit. So I don't know. But yeah, it ended up being a tragic, it was tragic. It was a riot, Tupac got everybody riled up. I think it was a couple of gunshots in the air.
They said Spice had some Glocks or something on him.
I don't think Spice did anything. The whole riot was caused by Tupac because of, I think at the time, the Yummy, the young kid who was killing people, that broke out, the Yummy Sandifer thing. And then, we were in Milwaukee, not knowing that Milwaukee ain't but a couple of hours or so from Chi-Town. So a lot of niggas had drove up from Chi-Town and mistaken identity. You think you talking to a gang of Milwaukee niggas when you're really talking to a gang of Chicago niggas.
Yeah.
And some niggas ain't gonna take that disrespect.
They weren't having this
You niggas
politicalness
ain't
at the
shit.
time. Yeah.
You niggas weak. Y'all ain't no gangsters. Y'all some pussies. Y'all this and that. And he's directing this shit to the crowd, not knowing, nigga, it's the gang of Chicago niggas in here. We ain't no Milwaukee niggas. We some real gangster disciple-ass killers in here.
Right.
And, and he kept addressing them, and you niggas is punks. Y'all ain't shit. Fuck all y'all in here. Y'all niggas is weak. Nigga, I'll pull out my gun and I'll pop one of you niggas.
Where were you at when he was doing all this?
I was standing on the side of the stage.
Were you like, what the fuck is he?
And when I saw the first nigga hop on stage, I said, oh, it's over. So we went to the dressing room, and I was, I'd done a lot of shows in Chicago. So I had a lot of fucking connection with a lot of GD niggas in Chicago. So, they took over the whole stage. Pac and them had to run off stage.
Went back to the hotel.
They ran to the hotel. They started running in people's dressing rooms. We was in the dressing room, me and my peoples, and was chilling. I don't know, about 40 niggas ran in there. A lot of those dudes I knew though. I had performed so many concerts for a lot of GD people, So I knew a lot of those dudes. I think I was up on a table trying to calm dudes down because they was in there like, we want to kill this nigga. Like, where is he? Where is he? I'm trying tell niggas to calm down and just go, just leave, y'all need to calm. And them niggas didn't want to hear it.
I heard Scarface even in the hotel had to pull back Tupac, and because he tried to go back out.
Oh no, they didn't want no part of that, man. They knew what because shit, we had to walk to the hotel. We didn't have no transportation and anything. So you got to understand, like when we came out the arena, all those people were in the streets. And so now you say, oh, there's Eiht in them. So they see us walking and the whole crowd just started following. So we ran to the hotel, quickly got up in the hotel, got up to our room, and you could open your door and look out into the lobby and all of that shit. And I'm talking about it looked like a fucking tidal wave.
Damn.
It was just people, and they were breaking shit, throwing shit. That shit went from the front door, it floated, it came up the floor, went around a couple of rooms. It was tragic. That's Milwaukee said, we never having another rap concert again here. And I don't think they have ever. They tore that motherfucker up.
You got Ford up to was about 98. You signed with Mac 10 and who banging?
Yeah, I signed a deal with Mac 10. I was gonna sign the No Limit. No Limit was cracking at the time. Master P, Snoop Dogg. I've been on Snoop for a long time. So, this is around the time Snoop was transitioning from Death Row to No Limit. So we used to hang all the time. I would pick Snoop up, we would ride, we would hang at his house at the studio, swap meets and all, just hanging. And so we actually went up to the studio one time when he was working with Beats by the Pound and Master P and Silk the Shocker and all them was up there. So, when I walk in with Snoop, they like, oh man, Eiht, whoopty whoop. So, we exchanging greetings and whatever. And I had just finished my deal with Epic, so I was in between deals. I hadn't signed with anyone. I had a deal with Big Beat Atlantic, but they backed out of the deal. So I was in between labels, not doing shit and just working. Basically, I was in the studio just working on shit, and Mac 10 was up there one night. He knew I was getting ready to sign the No Limit. So he offered me a deal on the spot.
Is there any truth? Because he came out and said that he also almost had Snoop before.
He was. That's why I signed to him.
Okay.
Because he wanted to sign Snoop, and they had worked out a deal or whatever was the story. And again, No Limit was the top dog at Priority.
Yeah.
So when Master P walked in and said, oh, you gonna let Snoop sign with Mac 10? He was like, fuck that. I want him on No Limit. And of course, Brian Turner is gonna be like,
yeah,
of course. You get me? Mac 10, was cool with, but he was a newcomer, Master P had 30 artists and fucking, Master P had his own deal. You get me? So, of course, Master P was making Priority a gang of motherfucking money. So they just felt it made more sense, Even though Mac 10 is Mac 10, it was the starting of Who Banging Records. You're not going to be able to do what Master P and No Limit can do for Snoop.
Well, and Reggie Wright said that would have been a lot of money for Mac 10 to go through with all that. what, because Master P provided a lot more.
No, but they was gonna give him $1 million.
Yeah.
They had worked it out to where Brian Turner and Mac 10 through Ho Bangin' was gonna give Snoop $1 million bucks.
Okay.
That's how it was gonna work. So I don't know what Reggie talking about, but
Yeah.
you
Did you see that though? When he came out and was like, "Oh, there would have been a lot of
I don't
money."
I don't listen to that.
Okay.
I don't listen to Reggie's show.
So you come out of that, and I heard you said you kind of just felt like it was the time.
I did the Mac 10 deal, just to see what would happen. I did 2 projects for Mac 10 and then that was it.
Okay.
I went my separate way. I felt that at the time, it was time for me to just take charge and start doing my own shit. Whether it was going to be successful or a failure, I just needed to start doing my own shit.
You had done some independent movies with, like, I think Mac 10 and
I
Fat
did
Joe.
Thicker Than Water with Mac 10, and then I did a movie called 100 Kilos.
Was that all around the same time?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so it wasn't like you had just been in pretty much Menace Society. You had done independent films.
I did Menace, and then I got a couple of offers to do other shit, but I didn't. I didn't.
You had what, Money Talks on the table too, right?
Money Talks was on the table. Some other shit was on the table with Bernie Mac at the time.
Okay.
I even went to Chicago and shot a whole movie with Bernie Mac and Lisa Ray.
Oh, damn.
And that never came out. So I've been doing a couple of things. But at the time, like I said, I never considered myself on no acting shit. So
right.
I never went after, roles and shit. Motherfuckers would be like, hey, I hear they finna start working on this or they start working on that. I'd be like, if a motherfucker don't call me, then they don't want me. So I'm not finna just go stand out there because I had other shit occupying me. Like I said, I had my son at the time with that, coaching football. That gave me an interest for 13 years. I wasn't even shit. Like I said, I turned down going on tours and everything because once I started that, I basically said, fuck it. And music was different at the time. You know what I'm saying? Going from that transition to coming into the 2000s
right.
and shit. And then, we went through the sing-songy era. Everything on the radio was love this and sing this and happy that. And so I said, man, this ain't my era. So I'm just going to kick back. So I left that to the 2000 rappers, the What's Love's Got to Do With It and all the Ja Rule era and Wooty Whoop. That was not my time to be making music.
But then, at least San Andreas fell into your lap.
San Andreas fell into my lap. Shout out DJ Pooh. San Andreas started, Grand Theft Auto started with just putting one of my songs on one of their radio stations. I think they took The Hood Took Me Under and put it on one of the radio stations on the game. So when you playing the game, you could hear The Hood Took Me Under playing. It went from that to the character, playing the Ryder character.
Yeah.
They had a character modeled after looking like Eazy-E, and they wanted somebody to do the voiceovers for it, and they knew I had done the movie. They knew I had a song on the other game. So DJ Pooh hit me and was like, man, they want to fuck with you and blah, blah, blah. And the rest is history. They flew me to New York. I did the voiceovers for the character. And, I got a good relationship with Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
Not that it's a problem, but, I feel like at some point, the baton got passed on to the South.
Mm-hmm.
What would it take for West Coast to get that baton back? What do you think it would take for the West Coast to say we back?
The West Coast has to learn how to stick to that identity of what got them the foundation of being West Coast music. A lot of artists want to try what other people are doing, and it's not successful for us because we built our foundation of being neighborhood rappers. You don't have to go around and talk about drive-by killing motherfuckers, but, we can't be doing songs to teeny bopper music and shit thinking that we're gonna be able to be pleased by it. You got niggas like MC8, you got Snoop Dogs, you got Mac 10s and Ice Cubes, and the foundation of West Coast music was built off the struggle of those type of rappers.
Yeah.
It's not about, the pop and peel era and, the money era and the chain era. And so when West Coast artists feel like I need to do what they doing now to stay relevant, it discredits a lot of it. And so I think when West Coast artists learn how to stick back to the foundation of real West Coast music, then it will be able to at least give us an insight on music today, because it's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
It's hard to have an identity because everybody want to be a different motherfucker want to be a different version of whatever is popular today. That's how music is made today. Nobody, you very have a few artists who feel like I'm gonna stick to my originality and I'm gonna be me. A lot of motherfuckers are just copycats. You get me? Oh, I'm gonna rap like him, or he got a song like this, so fuck it, I'm gonna do my song like that. We already heard that shit though.
I talked to Spice real quickly about this, but you guys had the artist storytelling down.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nas's and all that. And now we don't really get that anymore.
Niggas ain't got no stories to tell. Everybody want to be rich, fuck each other, bitch, or kill a nigga. So there's no story in that.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
All I want to talk about is look at my Cuban and look at the car I'm pulling up in. How much I spent on popping bottles last night and where I tricked off and took a bitch.
So the message is gone.
There is no message. The message is ball out. If you ain't got money, you ain't shit. You ain't got 10 chains on your neck, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
You ain't wearing Gucci loafers, you ain't shit. You ain't pulling up with the pink diamond in your forehead, you ain't shit. You get me? Those are the messages to the youth today. And the crazy shit is the motherfucker telling you, look at what I got, you'll never have it. And they go crazy over that shit. They buy 1 million tickets and show up at your motherfucker. And while these niggas is dressing in all these designer clothes and all this, nothing is simplicity anymore. How can you expect the average man to spend money on your music when you telling the average motherfucker you'll never be me?
Yeah.
Nigga, I got a private jet flying around the world and look at my ring and look at my chains and me and my bitch was out at this and me and my bitch was out at that. And you go bang that motherfucking shit like...
And this is what you didn't want your son to get into.
No, I didn't want my son to think that everything is about, nigga, if you ain't pulling up in a Rolls Royce, nigga, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
Because now what are some of these niggas going to go out and do to get that Rolls Royce? What are some of these niggas going to go out and do to get those couple of Cuban chains and shit? A nigga be ready to take your life to get those couple of Cubans and shit. And then niggas are so dumb, they'll fucking come jack you and get on the internet the next day holding your chain up like, look what I got. Like...
Giving themselves,
nigga, we didn't rob niggas back in the day and then go back around the corner and go, yeah, nigga, I robbed you last night. Look what I took out your house. You dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
So the message is wrong nowadays, and I get it. I was young too. I was a youth too. 18, 19, you couldn't tell me a motherfucking thing. Nothing. Oh, young man, you need to do this. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. Pull off on you. Get me? I get it because I was young too. But sometimes you have to mature faster than with the aspect of what you're supposed to, and you just have to think, man. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you can tell a lot of motherfuckers in a story. You get me? The motto of the story is to take from it. You get me? Learn the story. Yeah, we started off here, we went here, everything was high, but eventually something happened and we fell down and whoop-de-whoop. So the moral of the story is listen and learn from that.
Yeah.
Everything can't be like champagne bottles pouring.
Right.
And like G5 plane flying and double R driving and, 150,000 on my wrist, and that can't be everything in music. You feel me?
So when Kendrick Lamar came to you, with Good Kid, Mad City.
Mm-hmm.
Was that kind of like, oh yeah, this is what I'm fucking with right here, the storyline?
Kendrick, you know, it's just like I said, some artists, it's just different. You have the Kendricks, you have the J. Coles, you have the, you know, some artists are just different. You know, they come into it with the aspect of it's not about fame. It's not about fortune. It's just trying to speak to people and show my artistic shit. You know, I want to speak on this and speak on that. I just don't want to tell a nigga about, yeah, I'm Kendrick. I got
Yeah.
$1 billion, nigga. Look at how me and my bitch fly around the country. Look at how I pull up. Look at like it's so useless and shit because it's a lot of motherfuckers got that. It's hardcore corporate ass motherfucking American motherfuckers who don't rap, who put on suit
Yeah.
and ties every day, who got the same shit. So it's got to be a different story to tell. So with Kendrick, he just had a different direction. When he came to me, like, you know, a lot of times when I do guest appearances with people, you know, some niggas just be like, oh, just do you. You know, I like to ask a nigga, what's the concept? What we talking about? What's the direction of the song? And that's something Kendrick or, you know, or we this is this and I want to do this and I want to talk about this and I want to express this and I want to, so I respected that.
I was, I was talking to one of my homies the other day, and I said, "Man, we think about it. We're gonna give it probably another, I don't know, maybe 6 years, and we're gonna look back on the Kendricks and be like, damn, you remember this album? You remember this album? Looking back on your journey, your albums, what was your favorite album?
Music to Drive By.
Music to Drive By.
Music to Drive By, I think, set us to the point where people started looking at us as being not just some dudes on the corner rapping about shit in Compton, but they start seeing the direction of really wanting to be, you know, music and artist or whatever. You know, the different sounds we use, the different subjects, telling stories, Drive By Miss Daisy, Use a Bitch, telling stories about, the hood took me under or nigga struggling, that was probably one of my, crafted,
Yeah.
let me really think about, just coming out of the rap era and hip hop and just trying to get an identity. That was the time where, just in the title, Music to Drive By, you get me, just trying to express being clever as an artist and having people not look at you as just a nigga from Compton, you get me? So
Yeah.
that's what it did it for me, Music to Drive By. I was able to, produce a little bit, executive produce a little bit, sit down at the table with the record label, express my feeling about the project and which way I wanted to go. So that's what that was for me.
Just some quick thoughts, you ain't got to go too deep, but DJ Premier relationship.
I've been knowing Premier for a long time, so that's like my brother. I knew Premier. We both got our career started together. Rest in peace to Keith, my boy Guru. Premier is somebody I consider like I do Scarface.
Okay.
Somebody that I've been knowing for a long time, and even though we got introduced through the rap game, we've been able to maintain this relationship. I met Premier in like 1989.
Damn. Okay.
And somebody I can pick up the phone right now and not even on some rap shit or industry shit. I can call Premier right now, like, what's up? What you doing today? And, same thing with Scarface. So them two, I've built a tremendous, and Spice.
And Spice, right.
Yeah, those three people I've built a tremendous relationship as far as, real homies over this fucking whatever
Right.
it is. You get me? So, yeah.
Talk a little bit about Blue Stamp Official.
Blue Stamp is a label that I started independently when I started feeling like, it was time for me to take control of MCH's career. If you look at it over the last 30 years, it's been this dude and this dude and this label and this label and this manager and this manager. And then you look back and, money comes in and you realize and like, I'm really doing everything. I'm doing the music,
Right.
I'm doing the writing, I'm talking to the label, but then I'm paying this dude, this dude, this dude, and this dude. Or they're taking 10% out. He's taking 20. And then you come to find out, man, I just need to take control of shit. I need to not have no one control my shit. And that's what Blue Stamp is.
And
Blue
I love the
Stamp,
producers you've been hooking up with too
yeah.
lately. Them shit's been fire.
Yeah, you gotta adapt. I'm not one of those dudes who stay stuck in the time. I've always, when it comes to music, I think I've always been able to reach a different side than the typical normal boom kick, boom kick. You get me? I'm very musical, jazz orientated, strings, horns, orchestrated music. So when dealing with producers, I want musical
Right.
motherfuckers. I want motherfuckers who feel like I want to create some real shit instead of just going chicka chicka scratch, boom, kick, scratch, scratch. You get me?
Yeah.
Like it's so simple and typical. So I deal with producers today that I feel really, trying to express themselves. So it's a lot of up and coming dudes, who's not given the opportunities, but I call them hidden gems. You get me? You'll find a motherfucker working his ass off and got 20 followers on
And Blue
Instagram.
Stamp gonna be right there.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. What was what's MC8 Blue Stamp? What y'all got going on right now?
Right now, we got the podcast. Shout out to my boy Norman Steele.
Okay.
We got the Gangster Chronicles podcast running. Shout out to Charlemagne the God, Black Effect, Eiht. We've been doing pretty good on the podcast. We about to hit our 200th episode.
Damn, it's already, huh?
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Blue Stamp is working. We got a new project we about to drop. I still do music from time to time. Nothing on the big hoopla scale. I do music now, to please my fans. I still got loyal fans across the world, so they still like to hear MC8 spit and put out, his music. So we put out a Lessons project a couple of years ago. I'm working on Lessons Part 2. That's dropping next week on Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
We got the single we just dropped the other day with Domino. Domino from Ghetto
Still doing
Jam.
it, huh?
So we bring Domino back out. The album got features. Like I said, it's got Domino, Dave East is on there, E40, Raz Kaz, Planet Asia, my boy Chill from Compton's Most Wanted. So I think it'll definitely be a project that people will like, especially if they like the Lessons Project. And, a lot of people been telling me they've really been loving the Lessons Project I put out a couple of years ago. So we just try to follow that up with a part 2.
We love it.
Yes, indeed.
Real quick, anybody inspiring that wants to, hey, I can be another MC8. I could be in this rap game. What's your, your input?
My thing is to stay original. Try to connect with the people, in your area first. Before you try to be this major success or this international star, try to make music, that people can connect with you about. Don't make everything about just fun and games and party and let's get drunk and whatever and fuck and all that shit. Try to connect with people on the aspect of having something to tell a motherfucker, and a person will be willing to listen. Everything is not a gimmick nowadays, so don't get gimmicky on your shit. Be original, stay true to yourself, and again, look at your surroundings, look at your area, look at who are your friends and whatever. And then that'll give you a great foundation to start off with your hip hop, because it already shows you the type of people you got to connect with. You get me? You can't be rapping about rich ass shit and we all over here trying to struggle and get money. You get me? nigga, if you know you got a girl at home and everything, you can't be rapping about popping bottles in the club all night, making it rain for bitches and shit like that. So I think keeping it original and being original with yourself is where you should first start.
Don't fake it till you make it type deal.
that type of shit. Because a lot of people do that shit. You know, go rent you a Turo Rolls Royce and pull up with a couple of fake chains and act like you the man and shit. And, you know, because people respect you for being real and being true to yourself. That's what I respect. I don't give a fuck if you got a Rolls Royce, nigga. You could be, you know, getting rides from homies, but as long as you being true to yourself and you telling the nigga that. Nigga, I ain't got no Rolls Royce.
Right.
My homie brought me to the studio today, but I'm still here to get my shit off. Motherfucker will, I'm telling you, they'll respect that shit more. Because a lot of motherfuckers, you know, fake it till they make it. And when you be able to call them out and go, nigga, I'm just like you. So don't think like, because you see me on this microphone and I'm trying to rap and get ahead, that I'm thinking that I'm somebody better. You got to keep that aspect in mind, and I think you'll gain a gang of fans like that because people will be able to connect with you.
There you have it. Tell the people where they can find you on the social media sites.
You can hit me up on Instagram, Blue Stamp Music Official. You can hit me up on Instagram at 808. You know, EIHT, the number 0, EIHT. That's on Instagram. Facebook, I'm Eiht Compton. You know, you want to do work, you want to get a verse. Very reasonable with independence. I like fucking with independence, you know, so holla at me and let's get some work. Also, Lessons 2 is dropping next week, so go pick that up. Jill.
We are Grind 365, the podcast. That's exactly where you can find us, Grind 365, the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Google. If you want to just listen to the podcast while you're whipping, you can listen to the audio. If you want to watch, you can watch the YouTube video. I am down low, MC8 in the motherfucking building, man. I appreciate you for coming through.
All day.
And that's the motherfucking rap.